Well, hello, SMP Nation. It's Belle from Seam Sew Me, and guess what? I'm feeling Blaine's shoes today. Those are some pretty big shoes to fill. So I'm from Arkansas. He's from Arkansas. I'm going to give this a good old Arkansas loving try to be Blaine. Okay, so I'll do the best that I can here. I'm so glad you guys are joining me today. I've got the chat up here, and I can see who all's here. So let me know in the chat who all's here. Hello, Georgette, Joan. Let's see, Steve. Hello, hello. Where are you guys from today? Rita. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. It is hot here in Arkansas. We've had like 100-degree days. So I don't know about you all and where you're at, but it is definitely hot. All right. Okay, friends. Well, what are we doing today? A couple things. I am going to be talking about and showing you all my Juki DX4000 QVP. This is the Expert Edition, so it is the platinum silver one. And then also there is the white version of it. So you probably saw that on the thumbnail. All the features are the same for the platinum and the white, but this is the Expert Edition, so it comes with some extra special things I'll talk with you guys about today. So we'll talk a little bit about the features. Then I have a project for us. It's a palette cleanser, I like to say. If you want to do a little something little in between some of your bigger projects, we're going to do a needle book. Also serves as a tea wallet. So we're going to make that today using some of the features on the machine. So for those of you who don't know me, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am Belle from Seam Sew Me, and also Thread Life with Belle on YouTube. So I have a live YouTube channel called Thread Life with Belle. Got my shirt on. If you don't follow me, which I know some of you are here already do, and you guys are with me on my lives each week, I would love for you to hop on over to Thread Life with Belle and subscribe and follow me. We do a lot of fun things together. So Roger has pulled that up for you on the screen. This is Thread Life with Belle on YouTube. We do everything from, I have a baby lock sashiko, so we work on the sashiko. I just got a new long arm last week, and I'm brand new to that. I have the King Quilter 2 sit down. So we do that. We make projects. We have stitching Saturdays where we just get our UFOs and stitch things together. So hop on over to Thread Life with Belle. Give me a subscribe. You can hit the notification button, and it will let you know whenever we are going live. So thanks, Roger, for pulling that up. Also, I have a retreat center here in Arkansas. So for those of you that love to grab your quilt besties, you can come on down, and I can host groups anywhere from 1 to 10. And there's 2 houses. So there's one that's the retreat center, and then there's an extra house for larger groups. I've got 14 sponsors, and S&P is one of them. So Blaine sent all of his great sewing machine mats there for you to put your sewing machines on. But this is Seam Sew Me Retreats at River Glen. It's on 45 acres, and there are RV hookups on either side of the retreat center. So for those of you that are RV quilters, I'd love to have you. We have catering. If you don't want to bring your own food and cook, there's catering options. So hop on over there. It's all on my website. Everything you need to know about me is there, from the YouTube channel to my patterns. So I am a pattern designer, and then I'm also a brand new fabric designer with Benartex, and my first collection will be out this fall at Quilt Market. So lots of fun things for you to see there. Patterns, I've got some notions. One of them I'll show you today while we're working on the project. If you don't know about my jumbo alphabet clips and number clips, that's another fun thing for you there too. So that's a little bit about me. I teach at some of the national shows, like International Quilt Festival. I teach here. I go to guilds and do lectures and teach. I do a lecture about building healthy quilt guilds. So in my other life, I'm a trainer and a facilitator and consultant working with nonprofits throughout the country. And I do that also. And I found that guilds sometimes also have the same problems that other nonprofits have. So I go in and we do a lot of work if you're having problems within your guild, or if you need to do board strategic planning or things like that. I do a lot of consulting work with guilds besides teaching classes there too. All right. Well, that's a little bit about me. So you can get a free pattern if you go to my website and you subscribe to my newsletter. You will get a double sawtooth start pattern there block. And there's also a previews page. So pop over there, give me a visit. I'd love to connect with you. All right, so what are we doing today? Y'all, this machine is like the dream machine, okay? So this is the Juki DX4000 QVP Expert Edition, okay? So that's the silver. And it comes with some extra special features. There's going to be some things I talked to you about at the end on all of that. Here's the picture that Roger's put up for you. This is the machine we're talking about. Now, this looks gray in the picture, but when you see, we've got 5 camera views that you guys are going to have with me today. This is a platinum. So it's a shiny, like silver. It's beautiful. Now, if you know my slogan, which you can see it back here up above, it says make lovely things. I like lovely things. It's just great to sew with things that are lovely. So this is the Kokochi. Kokochi stands for good feeling. And you get a good feeling with this machine. It's pretty, all the features that it does that are super amazing. One of the features is actually unique. Only Juki's the only one that does it. It has to do with the feed dogs. I'll show you that in a bit too. So y'all are going to love this machine. My husband, when I first got it, he's like, that's the Cadillac. But it doesn't have the Cadillac price, which is super great. And there's some financing stuff I can talk to you about at the end. So Blaine has got some amazing deals with this machine, and also the one that's the white version that doesn't have some of the special, the trolley bag and the scissors and things that come with that. So we're going to talk about all of that today. Now, I'll go through all of it. I've got a screen set up over here, so I'll try to answer some of your questions as I go along. If I miss some of them, we always can catch those at the end. Make sure you stay until the end today because we're doing 2 giveaways at the very end. And I get to actually say to Roger, spin that wheel. Normally I get to hear Blaine do it, and today I get to do it. I feel like such a big girl getting to do this. So I'm glad you guys trust me with filling Blaine's shoes. And I told my husband, I said, I'm glad Blaine trusts me and Roger too. All right, so let's go on over. I'm going to change camera views. I'm going to go on over to the machine, and we're going to have like a big zoom out so you guys can see the full machine. I'm going to start to talk to you about the features. And then after that, we'll get into our project, and we'll talk about the special, and then we'll do some giveaways. Sound good? All right, friends, let's get started on over to the machine. All right. Okay, everybody hear me all right? I just want to make sure. Okay, I've got the chat pulled up here, so I'm able just to kind of check if you have questions and stuff. But here we are at the machine. Isn't it beautiful? Thanks, Rita. Okay, y'all. Hey, Lisa, Roxanne, Debbie. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for letting me know. Hello, look at all of these people on here. I'm excited. So excited. Some faces or some names I remember, and some of you might be new to me, and I might be new to you. So welcome. This is the machine. So this is the Industrial Heritage. It's got this beautiful little seal here on here. I've got a few stickers on here if you can see. This is the Kokochi Expert Edition, and it's kind of written down here. And like I said, what makes this the Expert Edition is it's this platinum silver. You can see the shine, which you couldn't see the shine as well kind of in that thumbnail picture, but you can see it here. It's gorgeous. And, you know, I did a lot of research because I was always a straight stitch girl. I have the Juki 2020 Platinum Edition. That's the straight stitch machine. Y'all have seen me use that. That was my first machine to really have a nice machine. It's a straight stitch only. And I was needing something where I could have some decorative stitches. I could do zigzag. I have the dual feed now. So this machine has everything. It has everything. It even has like some embroidery stitches. So y'all are just going to be excited to hear all this stuff. So I've got some of it written down because there's so many features. I've had this machine for 4 months. So there's some things I still haven't used yet, but a lot of things I have used. Jukis are incredible, Anna. I drive a Toyota. They're well-made machines. Their cars are great too. So this is actually my 3rd Juki. So I have one in the TL series, this one, and I recently got a cover stitch Juki. So they're just quality machines. I never have any problem out of mine. So I'm a fan of this one. Now, again, it comes in white. If you don't like the silver, there's a white option for you too. So I'll talk about that at the end. Let's kind of get into this to show you a little bit about what you've got here. So first off, you've got, this is a limited edition.
So once these are gone, they're gone. And when I say limited edition, it was the same way with my TL Platinum Edition 2020. There was only 2,000 that were sent here stateside. That was it, 2,000. Same with this one. I don't know exactly how many they made, but once these are gone, they're gone. They're limited edition. So if you're wondering, oh, I might could get it later, well, I don't know if they'll be there later. So wanted to let you know that. This is basically a premium top end machine, but you don't have that top end price. So when you look at it first, you've got a touch screen. This is a 7-inch touch screen. It's like a tablet. So if you are used to using your iPhone or your little mini tablet at home or whatever, you've got that here. All right. And when you just touch it, you know, it'll come back on. You know how with your phone, it'll kind of dim, it'll come back on when you touch it. Same with this. So I'm a visual learner. That's one reason I do tutorials a lot, and all of my quilt patterns have tutorials, because I need to be able to see things in motion. Well, with this one, that's exactly what happens. So right now we're just in the setting of just a straight stitch, and I'll show you all the stitches in a bit. But you can change the presser foot pressure here. You can change the stitch length, and there's a place to change the width too when you do zigzag. You just turn the knob to do that. And I normally stitch on a 1.8 just for make sure the stitch is really secure. So you've got the ability to see your stitches. So if this is stitch number 1, if I just punch that there, now you scroll through with your finger and you can see all the stitches here. Okay, these are called your practical stitches. So you can see the screen. We'll scroll through those. Your practical stitches, you just scan through with your finger and you can see all of them there. Isn't that nice? So for your practical stitches, you've got 44. Then you've got your buttonhole, and I'll show you when I show you the accessory box, which is amazing. It's got an electronic button maker. So it plugs into this machine on the side. So it's not the kind where it's stationary. This is not. This is electronic. You plug it in. So you've got a lot of different shapes. Look at that. Now I am just now getting into garment making. So I wanted this machine also to be able to do some things that, you know, I couldn't do with my straight stitch machine. And so, buttonholes are one. Then we move on over to applique, and you see how simple this is just to scroll through. Here's your applique stitches on here. And, you know, my Friendship Blooms pattern that I released back in February, you applique down flowers to a pieced quilt block, and I needed to be able to do applique stitches. So this machine was definitely, for me, something I really needed. So for the applique stitches, you have a total of, looks like 40 on that one. Then you've got tapering. So there's options to taper. You've got quilt line, so you can quilt on this machine. It comes with a hopping foot, so you can do free motion quilting, or if you want to drop your feed dogs, or you can stitch out these patterns on blocks. You've got scallop options, so there's 12 there for scallops. I mean, there's just all kinds of stitches here. You've got 1-point stitches, and the one we're going to do today on the needle book, I'm going to show you in a minute, the one I did for the demo initially is the sewing machine. See the cute little sewing machine there? And then I think we might try the thread spool. So that's another one. So on this one, for your 1-point, there's even words. This one's got 84. It's nice, isn't it? Just scrolling right through. It's a big screen, so I don't have to wear my readers. I don't have to wear my glasses for progressives on this. I can see it really well. We then have decorative. Now this has got a lot of decorative stitches. I think there's 84. And what I did with this, I've started a project because there's so many. I want to see like what they look like stitched out. And so what I've started is a project, which I highly suggest. You can number the stitches on here and then just stitch them out. Look how pretty those are. These are some examples of some of the decorative stitches that are like ivy and twine on here. And I did it in black so I can see it really well. And it's going to take a while because there's so many stitches on this machine. But that way I can just grab this and can look at that really easily and see that. All right, so here's more. Look at all of those. Aren't they cute? I mean, you could just go wild with these. There's even some modern ones in there. Hearts. So 86 of the decorative ones. Then we've got vintage stitches. And there are, let's see, we've got 37 of the vintage stitches. And then feathers and lace. I mean, y'all, this is just a lot of stitches there. So I wanted to be able to show you just how this one touch screen works, and then all the options in there. There's also, looks like a combination. I haven't used that yet. So we'll go back to our practical and scroll back down to our straight stitch here. All right, so that shows you the stitches, and you can see when you adjust the length. Watch this. I'm going to go real short, 0.6. You see that shows me, oh, they're tiny now. Or let's go down to the lowest. The lowest is 0.2. Your stitch length for this can go all the way up to 5 on that if you wanted to do a basting stitch. It also tells you your needle position on here. You can touch that needle position button, and you can turn this wheel. When you do, it's going to change your needle position. Look at that with just your finger, y'all. Isn't that neat? And then this number will change. So you can use this, or you can use the knob here, and it tells you. All right, then we'll just touch it and go back to where we were. So we'll put that back down on what I normally stitch at, about 1.8. Isn't that easy to see? It's got automatic tension too, so you don't have to worry. It'll automatically, when you thread it, it'll adjust to what you need your tension to be. So another couple great features is you've got options. You know, sometimes instead of having to back stitch, you just want to lock stitch. Well, when you start, you can program this. You can pick if you want a lock stitch, if you want to just turn that off and not have one at all, or a reverse stitch for when you start out. Same thing for when you end. Your end stitch, it could be a lock stitch. You could turn it off, or it could be a reverse stitch. Either way, whichever you prefer. And you know, it depending on what you're making, that back stitch is really helpful. So rather than having to click the back stitch here, which I'm still getting, you know, kind of used to, because this is really, really fancy, you can do it here, of course, manually. You can press this and it's going to tie it off, or you can do the reverse stitch here. If you had a foot injury and you don't want to use the pedal, you can stop and start here for some reason if you want to do that. And then, of course, your normal features, you've got your thread cutter, your needle up and down. This is to drop your feed dogs, and this is to put the presser foot down. Now, I use a knee lift. This comes with a knee lift. You can't see it because it's under my cabinet, but I'm a knee lift girl. I use it on my other Juki too, so I do use the knee lift so I can have my hands free when I'm maneuvering stuff here. So, yeah, nice, right? Okay, then you also have the presser foot lift. You can turn it on or off if you want, where it automatically lifts when you're done sewing. So I have mine on. And then this nice feature is the smart feed. This is basically like having a walking foot. Sometimes it's called a dual feed. We'll use this today because in the needle book, there's a little bit of fusible fleece, like batting. And so that makes it easier to go through whenever we sew. So I have to remember sometimes to engage mine. And when we do a different camera view in a minute, you'll be able to see all of this up closely and see the back, and you'll get to see how that works. You've also got your thread trimming on or off. Let me turn that on or off that way. Now let's go into settings and see some of the things you can do. You've got a darning adjustment setting. You can change the position of the needle here. So in the lower stop position or the upper stop position. Your pivot feature, so you can adjust the height. So if you want it to come up really high, say you've got a lot of batting that you're working with or a lot of layers of fabric, I've got mine all the way up to the top where it'll come up to 6 millimeters high for your pivot, or you can just turn it off if you want. You've got sound volume, so if you don't hear really well, you can turn this all the way up, because in a minute I'm going to show you can connect to the internet, y'all. You can connect to YouTube on here, and you actually could watch me while you're on your machine sewing if you wanted. But also it'll take you to the Juki website to watch tutorials on the machine. It's fascinating. You've got brightness. So you've got your LED and your LCD brightness that you can adjust, as well as the temperature. You can adjust the temperature on this, y'all. Now, I'm not going to because we've got it set so you can see everything really well here for lighting purposes, but all of that is adjustable. Then we've got your stitch speed, which you can adjust the speed for your starting and your reverse speed. You also can, of course, use the little turtle and the little rabbit. Now, if you have a Juki in the TL series, this is a familiar thing to you because it's on that one. It's usually over on this side on your semi-industrial, but you've got that as an option. And y'all, you don't have to play bobbin chicken anymore because there is a bobbin thread sensor that tells you, uh-oh, Belle, you've only got 30 stitches left, and then your bobbin's going to run out. Or I can set it for 100 if I want to change it at that, or 200. So you'll get a little, and it'll pop up. It'll go ding, and it'll say, you know, thread running low. And I know, okay, I've got 30 stitches left to finish up what I'm doing until I have to switch out my bobbin. You've got some safety features here, your foot switch functions as well. So this is to program your foot pedal. Your foot pedal has two pedals. Your normal one that you press, it's on the left where you press and it'll go forward or let go. And then on the side of the presser is another foot, and you can program that to do all 7 of these functions. Now mine's programmed to do a reverse stitch, so I don't have to press the button on here. I just hit the pedal on the right hand side and it does the reverse stitch for me. But you can program it to do needle up, needle down, thread trimming, presser foot auto lift, lock stitch, the reverse stitch I told you, 1 stitch sewing, or no function at all. So your foot pedal is programmable. You also can do 2 needles. Now this is one thing I've never done before, is to use the 2 needles. This is if you don't have a cover stitch machine, which I recently just got one, but you can use this if you want to do garment sewing. You know how you have the 2 nice your 2 nice stitches at the bottom of your t-shirts, that, or your garments? That's what that's for. Maybe some other decorative things you want to do. Here's your Wi-Fi settings. So I'm able to connect here to any of my Wi-Fi settings that I have here. So I'm connected to the internet right now. Your machine log to show how many stitches you've made. I guess if you want to keep track of that, you can, or, you know, if you ever got rid of sold your machine, people would know how much is on there. Language. So if you speak another language, Italian, French, Dutch, you've got some options here for that. I mean, Juki thinks of everything. Accessibility. I've not used this feature yet, so I'd have to read in the manual on that one. And then there's a shutdown mode. All right, so look at all of those features. Isn't that nice? Yeah, Deborah, you've never seen that before, the Wi-Fi? Well, wait till I show you the Wi-Fi on here, y'all. Now let's go over to support. So you've got some support features. This will take you to the instruction manual, which you can scroll through. But here's the thing. When you get to the index on here, you actually can click. Oh, I know I don't want to make you dizzy, but you can click on like the table of contents, and it'll take you to that page 27 when I click on it. So you're not having to scroll through 400 pages. It'll just take you there and you can see the instruction manual. But it gets better than that, y'all. In a minute, I'm going to show you how you can go to the Wi-Fi to see the internet. So you've got your support setting there. I showed you the sewing features with all your stitches and everything right here, which it's not complicated. You know, some machines can get a little complicated. This one's not. You've got a history. So this shows you all the last 10 stitches that I've done on here. And then here we go. JukiSewing.net, y'all. So there's digital tutorials you can click on here. And if I'm like, man, I don't remember how to thread my needle, I can click that. I can, if I want, I can go use my smartphone and scan that and watch it on my phone. Or, let me show you this, y'all. You can go to the instructional movie and click instructional movie. And when you do, this is going to connect you through Wi-Fi, and it's going to take you to all of their videos on this machine. So here's what I did, y'all. I actually went to YouTube and I watched on the Juki channel every single one of these before I chose my machine, because I wanted to know, you know, all the features and what it would do, like free motion. You can attach a quilt sleeve. There's a tutorial on that. Buttonhole stitches, tapering, overlapping patterns. Some of these stitches you can overlap, and it's called black work. You can do those. It shows you how to change your throat plate and feed dogs, because there's two, y'all. There's two, and that's a special feature. So anyway, you've got those videos to get to there, which is super nice. You can also go to the manual if you want, and you can go to the Juki website if you want to. Now, I don't have permission to go to the website for some reason on that one, but you've got that feature just to see everything right here, which is really, really nice. So I'm going to go back to my sewing here, and we'll get that back in place there. Okay, let me pop over and see if we've got any questions here. Okay. Yeah, you could, Joyce. You could sit and play with this for days. Like I said, I've only had it 4 months, and there's still some things I have not used yet. So it's been a really fun time. So let's look here at some of the specs. You've got 12 inches of throat space. So this is nice and big. So if you wanted to quilt a quilt, you can. You can drop your feed dogs, and you can do free motion. So there's feet. I'll show you those in just a minute. I've already kind of gone over your buttons here. And after I'm done showing you this view of the machine, Quilt Husband's going to adjust the camera, and I'm going to show you kind of what's back here on the top of the machine. You've got your there's a little lever here on the side. So you've got an automatic thread, a needle threader here. And then there's also a thread cutter on the side. And then there's a little plug to plug in your buttonhole maker here on the side too, which is really nice. Now this is a front load bobbin. So you just press this little lever right here, and this pops off. And then you've got your front loading bobbin, and it reminds you how to thread that. So this is counterclockwise, and then it has your measurements. So you've got the 5 is the 1/4 inch. I'm sorry, the right before the 7 is a 1/4 inch, and then it keeps going out all the way to 5/8 on this. And then on your plate here, it'll go even further to look at those. The cool thing about this is when you thread this through here, there's a needle cutter at the end. So when I take this through and I put it there like that, I can actually just pull it, and it cuts my bobbin tail, so I don't have to get my snips and cut that all the time, and then it just pops right back on. Now, when we get to sewing my project in a bit, you're going to watch me take this plate off and the feed dog. So I always call this the jelly bean plate, because the little hole where your needle goes up and down and back and forth when you're doing decorative and zigzag stitches looks like a little jelly bean to me. So that's what I call it. But we also have a straight stitch plate, y'all, and straight stitch feed dogs. So this plate has special feed dogs that just snap right out. So this machine is basically like a straight stitch machine, like my semi-industrial Juki. If you want that, if you're used to that, you just change out the plate. Or you can put your other plate on for your decorative stitches, your zigzag stitches, your applique stitches. You've got that on there. And then, you know, it's just a wonderful feature, because sometimes you want a straight stitch plate because it can pull your fabric down the jelly bean hole, I like to say. And that is so frustrating when it tears your fabric up. You don't have to worry about that anymore. You just swap out the plate and the feed dogs. And that is special to Juki. Those special feed dog feet that match the plate identically for what you're doing is special to Juki. So they did not hold back at all with this machine. Okay, so let me show you some of the feet that come with this. So with this machine, whether it's the white one or this silver expert edition, are y'all feeling good? Remember, Kokochi stands for good feeling. Yeah, I am too. So here's the beautiful box that you have. Now, if you're like me, everything needs a home, or my brain starts to short circuit. So I need things to be in their place. And with, you know, sometimes with machines, you've got a box and everything's just thrown in there and you have to kind of dig for it. Well, with this one, everything has a place. So here's, you know, all of the feet. And the ones I use the most really are my patchwork foot. This is the perfect 1/4 inch patchwork foot, which is really nice. And then, of course, I use this one a lot too. And then if you've got your applique stitches, you've got a couple of options for your applique stitches, this one. And then even the one I have on the regular foot right now, you can do applique with. So you've got those feet. There's even more in here. So let me read those off to you if you're curious what comes with them. There's a lot. So you've got the standard presser foot, which is on here. You've got your straight stitch presser foot, which is this one. You've got your zipper presser foot. There's your zipper presser foot. You've got an overcasting presser foot, a blind stitch, the buttonhole presser foot. So let me just pop that out here so you can see this, how it plugs in. This is it, and it will plug into your machine. Now, I've not used this yet, but it's pretty fancy. Isn't that cute? You've got that. You've got 3 different caps, a large, medium, and a small for your thread. And I didn't realize till I researched how important it is to use the right size cap on the right size thread. It actually makes a difference with your thread coming through. Let's see here. What else do we have? You've got the manual buttonhole presser foot, the open toe presser foot, patchwork presser foot, the 1/4 inch guide foot. So if you want to do quilting, you've also got a quilt guide to be able to make your lines be the correct space whenever you're doing that. So you've got that as an option too. And it all just fits nicely in here. There's also some needles. You've also got an extra spool holder here. You've got your seam ripper. This is for free motion quilting and darning. So this just kind of hops up and down. Sometimes it's called a hopping foot. More feet in here. So all of it just fits in there really nicely. And I told you got 2 plates. So this is the straight stitch plate, y'all. You see that? Well, when you put this on, which we will in a little bit, you've also got the feed dogs that match it. So what happens is you see those grooves? I'm going to flip this over. We're going to pretend this is in my machine. And what happens is those feed dogs line up perfectly with these grooves. And so that's where the needle goes. So this is so nice. Most, when you have the option to swap out your plates on some machines, you don't have this option. This is exclusive to Juki. And I've already got, I call it my jelly bean plate in there, and it has the special feed dogs, and these just snap in. And it's a 7. This one is a 7 piece. It's got 7 little touch points for that, so that your fabric, when you're sewing with maybe fabric that's delicate or silk or garments, or even with your batting and such, it's not going to move around a whole lot. So that's a really, really great feature. And I swap these out. I just keep this all handy right here over to the side. And I just, pop out, get what I need and what I don't need. So that is one of the features. This comes with the machine. It also comes with a 4 bobbins. I've gotten more that I've added to it. So that's on there too. All right, let me see here. What else do we have? Did I put one of those feet in there? I might have. We'll put this to the side. All right. And remember those scissors that Roger showed y'all? Well, this is what comes with this Expert Edition. So the silver one comes with this special kit, and look what's inside. These are stainless steel shears. These are Juki shears. There's a stiletto. You've also got your snips, which are really sharp, which is why it has the rubber on it. Well, I'm sorry, these are little scissors, and then you got your snips. So this is special. This comes just with this Expert Edition, and it all zips up, which is really nice. And I had all these out because I have them. I keep everything kind of organized in this little dish here, and I put them all back in here so you guys could kind of see how that is. But I use these, so I put those up today. Yeah, really nice, right? Always need more bobbins. The tools that they put with this is amazing. Now, the other thing that comes with it is a really nice, it's like a upholstered fabric trolley cart. And it is a high-end cart. It's not cheap. It's a really nice one. And there's also a cover. If you want to cover this, there's also a separate cover that comes with it too, as far as, what you see there. All right, let me see if there's anything else. Let me see what else I can tell you. Let me look back here at my notes. So we've talked about the 12-inch space. It also comes with an extension table. Now mine is dropped down in an Aero Sydney XL. This is on hydraulic, so this will move up and down if you like have an embroidery machine. I leave mine like this, but it does come with a really nice big extension table. If you don't have a drop down cabinet, it has a really nice silver, and it's silver, so it matches, and it's pretty big. It's actually a little larger, I think, than most. Let me see if there was anything else that I left out. Oh, the fonts. I'll show you in a minute all the fonts, but there's 4 lettering fonts that I didn't mention. So we'll show you that when I kind of show you what's behind the panel up here so you can see those. Yeah, well, I'll show you the smart feed. So the button, it's on right here, and then I'll show you how to engage it when we change views in just a minute. You want to go ahead and change the view for me? Just Quilt Husband's going to change the view, and I'll show you where that smart feed goes. It's back here. So you see this? That is the smart feed, or it's also the walking foot. Some people call it a dual feed. So you use that on any of the feet that are open in the back. So if the feet are open in the back right here, you can use that. And the machine will tell you. It's really smart. It'll tell you if you screwed something up. It'll tell you what to do, which is really, really handy. So that is the smart feed feature there. So you can see that. Thanks for asking. And we'll do this view in a minute when we change the plate for our projects. All right. All right. Let's see. What else can I tell you? How fast does this baby go? It does 1,050 stitches per minute if you want to go super fast. Now, I keep mine about right here. It's a little more than half. But if you're a fast stitcher, there you go. The different type of stitches, 368 different types of stitches. And I'll show y'all those there in a minute. Your zigzag stitch can go up to 7 millimeters. And that's the width, and then the length 5 millimeters on there for you for that. I mentioned that your tension thread automatic. Your presser foot lift is electronic. Adjustable foot pressure is digital. You've got that. This takes a 15 class bobbin. And you might be wondering, well, this machine is big. How much does it weigh? It's 33 pounds, if you're wondering how much the machine is. Now, I have the Sydney XL because this is a larger machine. That's the size of cabin I needed. But if you want to get your pen out and you want to write down how wide, what's the depth, what's the length of this, the dimensions are 23.7 inches wide. It's 12 inches high. It's 10.4 in diameter. So that kind of lets you know if it would fit in a table or not. And all that's on the website. You'll be able to see that there. And here's the other thing. This is a low shank, but there's an adapter if you want to adapt the shank to, to be a higher shank. So that's an option there. And that's also in the little kit there for you. Let me see. I think I covered basically all the features for you guys on this. So now you kind of know what's going on, right? Yes, you know what's going on. So what we're going to do is, what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you the plate here so you can kind of see what's going on. And while I'm doing that, Quilt Husband's going to kind of get us set up for showing you all the stitches in a minute. So let's go down here to the plate area and kind of show you how this works. So I'm going to take the presser foot off, and all of these little, or take the feet off, all these little feet just snap off. There's a button on the back here. You see that button? You can just snap all these off. Okay. So I'm going to set that to the side there. And let's change this out. Let's say, I think I want to do a straight stitch. Well, I'm just going to get the little tool that's in the box. There's a little tool in there. It's this little tool right here. It does a lot of different things. You can unscrew your needle screw. And we're going to use the very end of this right here. And this is what you do. There's a little groove right here. And to snap this off, you just stick it in there, lift it up, and this pops up. And then you get your fingers here and you take it out like this. And it just pops off. Now you get to see down in the machine here. All right. I'm just going to set that to the side. And you see why I call it the jelly bean plate? And it'll tell you if you've got the wrong stuff on. Right now, the camera tells me that the throat plate has slipped out of position. My screen tells me that right now. So it's really smart, y'all. Now, When we change this out, that means we got to change our feed dogs. So we're going to pop that out. And there you go. This is the 7 points. So it's 1, let me get my stiletto. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it matches my throat plate on this one. So we take that one out. And then we snap in our straight stitch feed dogs, which are right here. And this is how easy this is, y'all. You literally just snap it in. So you're just going to put it right there and just press it down, and it just snaps. And then we take the straight stitch plate, slide it in. You see these two little lips right there? They just snap right in there, and you press it down, and you're going to hear it snap. Boom. And now my machine screen says that, there's a straight stitch plate on here. We're going to erase what you were doing before, so that way the needle doesn't all of a sudden zigzag and then break my needle. It knows that I've done that. And then it asked me to accept the presser foot on the screen, and I said, yes, I'm ready to go. I have swapped this baby out. So isn't that nice, y'all? Yeah. Nelda, your heart is beating for this. Yeah, I saw this first at Road to California. I was like, oh man, this is the machine for me. And I did a lot of research on it, before I picked this one. So that is how you snap that out. So I'm going to go ahead and put back the other one because we're going to do a decorative stitch here on our needle book. So I'm going to snap these out. This is how fast it is. And I just keep all this real handy right here. And anytime I need to, do something different, you don't have to look for it somewhere. What did I do with it? It's all right here in the little box. It's just real handy. So we'll put that back on, snap it down. The machine's telling me, oh, you've changed your machine. Do you have the right presser foot on? So I'm going to put my regular presser foot on that's got the little jelly bean hole, and we'll be ready to stitch in a few minutes. Okay, so now let's go to the top of the machine so you all can see the stitches up here. Okay, so we'll switch camera views. And, in some older machines, you have to pull out the manual sometimes if it doesn't have a cheat sheet. Well, this one does. So you can see them all here, or you can see them on the screen. Either way, it doesn't matter. You can see it both ways. But you can have this flipped up. When I sew, I usually keep this flipped up to have them there. But here's what you've got going on inside. So this is the bobbin winder. It's very simple. So basically your thread goes here, and I've got my cap on, and it's going to come around this little hook. It's then going to come behind this little piece right here, around the screw, through this thread mass, all the way to here. And then you're going to click this direction, and it's going to wind your bobbin automatically. It just starts spinning. You don't even have to put your pedal to the metal. This automatically knows that you've done that. And there's actually a a thread cutter on here. There's one here, and there's actually a thread cutter in those grooves right there to actually cut your bobbin thread rather than having to snip it with scissors. And it's really easy. There's numbers on here. So you've got step 1, which goes around here. If you want to thread it, you come down through here. That's step 2. Step 3, coming up, step 4, through here, down to 5, and then there's another place at the bottom down there to be able to thread it. So I know that you can't see all of those steps all the way down for our camera view, but it's simple, easy to thread. It's all labeled for you here. All right. So look at all those. You've even got, here's your fonts. I think I mentioned there were 4. There's even some Japanese in there too, which is nice. So that's what this looks like up here at the top, y'all. Nice, huh? All right. Okay, I wanted to show you the features of the machine first so you knew how awesome this was. Now we're going to do our needlebook tutorial. And to do that, we're going to switch views. I'm going to come on over here and switch things up a little bit. And my husband's like, oh, I'm back here. Okay, you're good. He doesn't usually like to be seen, but he's a cutie. Some of y'all that are on my Thread Life with Belle, you get to see him every so often because he's kind of behind the scenes. All right. He's going to have the camera adjusted in case we need to actually go back over there and do anything else in a little bit so you can see both views. All right. Here's what we're doing. I want to show you the needlebook tutorial.
or the tutorial, all the steps to it, but I want to show you a couple of them first. Now, this is the one I made as a demo for class, and this is that little sewing machine I showed you that I used the decorative stitch on. And this is such a palette cleanser. I love these. You can make a bunch of them and save them for gifts. But this is what it looks like. There's a little pocket here. You've got a section here to put your needles. This is just batting, and another pocket back here. That cute. Now, if you don't want to use this for a needle book, you just don't put your batting in, and you're able to use it for tea. So I am a huge tea drinker, and I also travel with instant Starbucks. And so I like to be able to have that. So with the Starbucks, I can just put those in my tea in there, and then you just omit the batting. And this makes a great gift too if maybe someone's sick and you want to give them, you know, a gift or something, right? I know, isn't it cute? So I make a bunch of these, just keep them handy. I also make these to put in my beginner EPP kits sometimes. If I run out of some other ones that I have, I'll make these. So it's a 2-for-1, y'all, a 2-for-1. And we're going to use some of the features of the machine to make this. So I wanted to show you what that looked like. Here's another one with all the goodies in it. So I've got my Sew Tights magnet. I've got a needle minder. This is my thread gloss that fits right in there. I've got some needles. Now I put in some bigger ones so you could see those better. And then my snips back here in the back. So I like having the pockets, and then you just tie it all up and you're good to go. This is a great scrap buster. I mean, you don't need a lot, okay? So we will put that to the side. And when we do the giveaway at the end, I'm actually going to give this one away along with one of my patterns and a Thread Life with Belle sticker. So whoever's with me at the end, I'll have you guys, one of y'all email me and I'll send you a giveaway too. I know S&P, we're doing 2 of those, and then we'll also do that. So we'll put that to the side. All right, what are we doing next? Well, here's what you need for this project. Now, I think Roger is going to put that in the chat for you. But here we go. What do you need? So I've made this pretty big for you. Take a screenshot. If you've got your phone, take a screenshot of this. You're going to need 2 5x7 rectangles. This is for the outer and the inside of the needle book. So that's fabric A. You're going to need 1 6x7 rectangle for the inside pocket. That's B. You're going to need 2 5x7 rectangles of fusible fleece or fusible interfacing. You'll need 2 of those. That's fabric C. You'll need 1 4 by 5.5 inch rectangle of batting to hold the needles. You could also use fleece. That's D. And then you need 1 12-inch piece of ribbon or twine. So snap a screenshot, y'all. Oh, good, Renee. I'm glad you love it. Snap a screenshot, and I think Roger's going to put it in the chat for you too. So that's what I'm working with today. All right. Okay. So what are we working with? So for me, I got sick and tired of using pins and little pieces of Post-it notes to label my fabric. I always get people to ask me, what are these? These are my jumbo alphabet and number clips. I sell them on my website, and I believe Roger has all those links for you. But that's what I use. I have a little bit of dyslexia too. I have a really difficult time remembering, and I get things reversed. So I invented these clips and had them manufactured, and they hold up to 1-inch stack of fabric. So A through Z for the letters, and 1 through 20 for numbers. This is for your rows. This is to be able to label up to 20 rows on a quilt. So those are on my website, y'all. They come in this tin, and you don't have to replace them because they don't bend like pins do. So you don't have to replace those with pins and all that stuff. I was like, that's why this says developed by Quilter for Quilter, because I needed to solve a problem for Belle. So anyway, I used to hand make these, and they would just be gone like that. I couldn't handle making them all the time. So anyway, that's what these are, and that's how I label everything on here. Okay, what are we going to do first? Well, I'm going to set my batting to the side. This is for the needle that we fold in half. We're going to put the D to the side, and we're going to put the pocket. The pocket is the B here. I'm making one identical to the one I showed you all here. So I'm using the exact same fabric so you can see what's going on. And I use vintage lace. I think it's just lovely, right? Make lovely things. I use vintage lace, but you can use, I've used tomato twine before. I've used ribbon. So just let you know some options on that. I'm going to put those two aside, and we are going to stick with our 2A fabric. So this is the back and the front. And then we've got our 2 fusible pieces of fusible fleece. Now I like fleece because it gives just a little bit of fluff to the needle book. I don't really love batting so much because it makes it too thick, but if you got really thin batting, that would work too. It's going to be a little harder to keep it in place if you can fuse it down or use some batting spray or some basting spray. It keeps it in place because we're going to use one of the decorative stitches to stitch on here, and you want that to stay in place. Now, since this fuses down, I don't have to worry so much about my fabric shrinking up, but depending on how much quilting you do on this, you may need to cut your squares or your rectangles about 1/2 inch bigger if you're worried about shrinkage on here. Since this fuses down, it's glue and it sticks, so I don't really have much trouble with that. So let's head on over to the pressing station and let's get these pressed down. So what I like to do is I will put the bumpy side up. This is the glue side here. And I will lay, now I don't have right sides really because I'm doing a solid because I wanted y'all, I'm doing something dark so you could see when I stitch and what I'm doing. I just lay it on top of the bumpy side here. And, you know, I don't sometimes exactly cut the fusible. You really should because you can get glue on your iron, but sometimes I'm not perfect on that. And then I like to press it. And I use an Aliso iron, and because this baby gets hot, I have burned my fingers sometimes. So I use these rubber fingertips, and look at that. I can get right up to my fingers. I can even touch it on accident, no problem. I think these come in a set of 5, but I tend to only use these 2. Y'all, it will save. It's even melted my nail polish before. Whenever I put this up there, that has happened. All right. So we've got that one down. Really good. We'll set that to the side. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Bumpy side up. And we're just going to fuse it here. And it takes about 10 seconds kind of per section. I have a mini Aliso. I have this one too here. And that one's really nice as well. But if you want to cover a great big larger space, then I use my larger one. So we're going to press that down really good. All right. Is anybody doing this with me? Did anybody like go get in their studio and make sure those are on really good? And if not, you can watch this recording later, y'all. Okay, we're going to take those off. And then we're going to go back over here and we're going to trim these down just a little bit where I have that extra. This is my favorite rotary cutter. It's by Havel's, and it's a safety one. So this little thing right here, it moves when you put the blade down on the mat. It comes out of its home, and when you're done, it goes back in its home. So I don't ever have those accidents where if I accidentally hit it, so I didn't lock it. Yeah, Havel's. Or it can lock if you need it to. So people always ask me, what is that rotary cutter? It kind of pops in and out. It's the only one I use, unless I'm using a stripology ruler. If I'm using a stripology ruler, this won't work. So turn that down just a hair. All right. Okay. There we go. Is Quilt Husband sharing something? I think Quilt Husband's over in the chat. He's over in the chat, y'all. He does this on Thread Life with Belle on my lives. He'll do that too. It's pretty fun. Okay, so now that we've got this down, let's go to the sewing machine and let's do one of those decorative stitches so you actually can see how the Juki DX4000 stitches out. So you would want to decide which one you want to be on the front part of your needle book. I went simple to keep it all the same. So if you've got different colors or whatever, just keep that in mind. So let's go on over to the back side so that way you can kind of see everything that's going on here.
And then Quilt Husband will probably change the view for me when I need to use the monitor over here and change things out. So let's go ahead and pick our stitch. So I'll have him change the view so you guys can see the 7-inch screen. And let's pick our decorative stitch on here. So let's go to sewing and we'll click, we've got practical. No, we want to do something fancy. Let's do something lovely. So we've got decorative here. And I think I did the sewing machine already. There's one on here that's thread. Let me see if that's under, which one's under? Maybe it's under, oh, it's under 1 point. Under the 1 point. Let's scroll down here. There's stars. There's little hats. There's a movie. Oh, no, there's a bobbin, y'all. There's a bobbin. There's basketball, baseball, little cars, little bikes. There's cameras. There's little mushrooms. How cute are those little mushrooms, y'all? Music, keys, and anchor. Okay, here's actually the needle. So which one y'all want me to use? We've got the needle and thread. We've got the thread spool. We've got a pin cushion. And we've got scissors. So let's see. Which one y'all want me to use? You want the needle and thread? Let's see. I don't know. It's a needle book. Let's go with the needle. Okay, so I am, now that we've picked the needle, it's telling me, okay, Belle, you've picked the needle. And if I wanted, I could adjust my stitch length and my width if I just turn these knobs. Now I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to. We're going to leave it like this. And I'm going to engage. No, I'm not going to engage. Actually, I'm not. And you know why? Because if you look at my screen here, look what went away on my screen. Do you see what's not there anymore? And this thing thanks for you because, you know, sometimes you forget. I almost engaged my dual feed. Well, it won't let me. It's not there. So that didn't happen. All right, let's get this kind of lined up the best in the center that we can. And I'm going to do needle down. And let's start stitching out this needle and thread. And you can go as fast or as slow as you want. I'm just kind of using, even though the feed dogs keep it pretty straight, I just kind of keep my fingers here on the side just to kind of guide it so it doesn't get off. Y'all should be able to see this one. Oh, it's cute. Like I said, this is why I'm working on that project of sewing out all of the different decorative stitches so that I can know, you know, what they look like. I probably could have made this one larger, but we'll leave it like this for now. Okay. I'm going to use my pedal, and it's actually going to tie this off. It's doing a lock stitch at the end, so I have to use my hands, y'all. There we go. There's your needle and your thread. Isn't that cute? Okay, so now we can assemble our needle. So let's assemble this. We'll go ahead and cut the thread here. All right, so we're going to move on over to grabbing our B fabric here. This is your pocket. We've got to press this. I'm just going to take all of this over to the pressing station and we will assemble it.
Janet asked what type of thread you're using.
Oh, y'all, the thread. I'm using Aurifil thread, this Aurifil 50 weight. I'm an Aurifil artisan this year for 2025, 2026. I was so excited to be selected, and they have sent me all kinds of thread to try. Now, I've used Aurifil before, 50 weight, but I've never used, they have long arm thread, so I just got a long arm, a used one. And I used that just the other day. And so they have long arm thread, which is also serger thread. This is the 50 weight, but they have all different weights, and it's been fun. I just started using it all. Okay, so as far as assembly, now what? Well, you have to think about, okay, this is the front. So you're going to take your inside lining, and we're going to put our pocket. So when you just fold this pocket in half like this, you don't have to worry about turning anything like you would needing to have a nice different kind of edge here. You just fold it. So you've got a clean edge there. So that's really the simplest way I have found to do it. Just line that up there. And then for our thread here, get my scissors. What I like to do is you get a decision. It depends what you want. You can either line this up even with the edge of the pocket, but it's not going to be completely centered. Or you can bring it down a little bit where it's going to be a little bit more centered. If you want to get precise, you can measure it. So you do what makes you happy. We're just going to pin that lace in place on the side, right there on that side. And then make sure it's not twisted and bring it over here. And then I'm just going to eyeball it. But if you want precision, you can measure it. And then we are going to pin that one too. Okay, all right. So then you just take your ribbon here, and I just kind of straighten that out. Let's press that a little bit. It's a little bit twisted. We'll just press it, make it nice and flat. I just take both my fingers like this to kind of find the center, like that. And then with my scissors, you just whoop, snip it. And now we've got this cut in half. And the nice thing is that with this length, you don't have extra that hangs off, so it won't accidentally get caught up in our seam allowance, which is nice. So what we're going to do now is we're going to place this all right sides together. So I'm going to turn this over, this one. This is right sides up. We're going to place this right side together here. And let me get my clips. And we're gonna, I use clips because this is a little thick for that many pins. And I usually like to leave my opening on the bottom here. And you want to do about a 3-inch opening here, because we'll have to turn it right side out. So I just mark it there. And then you'll clip. I usually do 2 at the top, 1 on the side. And then I'll do another one right after that line to remind me not to sew any further. And then I'm going to start right here. So we're going to go to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch. We're going to start right here. We're going to stitch a 1/4 inch all the way around here to get here, and we'll back stitch. Now I'm going to put my reverse stitch feature on. And that way you can see that. All right. We've got the reverse stitch feature on. Yeah, I do like clips, y'all. Less problem with sometimes getting, your fingers pinched up. But I'm just going to use, I'm using actually right here's the 1/4 inch. The 5 is, well, it's right close to the 5. It's kind of between the 5 and the 7. So I'm going to change my feature to, remember that button I showed you, you could do reverse start, reverse stop. So I've switched mine to be, let's see here. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I'm going to switch out the plate. We need to put our straight stitch plate on because I don't want my fabric kind of big. Not that it necessarily would go down there, but it could go down there. So let's go back to a practical stitch. So I'm going to go to a straight stitch. And I'm going to pop this off just so you guys can watch in real time. We'll pop that off. We're going to pop this one off because we're done with the decorative stitches, so we don't need that. And we will put in our straight stitch feed dogs. And like I said, this is unique. No other machine has this where you have the special feed dogs that perfectly line up. with the plate, and it just snaps in. See how easy that is? Snaps in. And we're good to go. And I'm actually going to put on, I think I'm going to put on different foot. Let's put this one on. There we go. All right. Now, it's saying, okay, you got a new plate on. Now I can put the reverse stitch at the beginning and the end. So I changed that feature on the machine. I'm going to get lined up here at 1/4 inch. And when I press the pedal to go, it did the reverse stitch for me. I didn't have to press the button up at the top of the machine. It just did it. So we're going to sew 1/4 inch all the way around. And let's actually, it's so funny. One of my subscribers always reminds me, Belle, don't forget to put your dual feet on, because I'm so not used to that feature. So let's put that dual feet on. And it's going to really grab, you know, when you're quilting, it's really helpful when you do a walking foot. Well, it's the same for this. It's really going to move that through without there being any kind of slippage or it getting stuck, which is nice. We're going to do 1/4 inch all the way around. We're almost done, y'all. I mean, this is super fast. And I don't sew over needles. I had one time where one broke and hit me in the face, so I don't do that anymore. I always take those out. And see the pivot features on. Did y'all see how this comes up when I pivot? So I don't have to reach back here and lift up the presser foot. It automatically, and that's set. I've got it set that way. If you don't want that feature, you can turn it off. But I really like it. And then I'm going to hit the small part of my foot pedal, and watch. You hit it once, and it reverse stitches for me. All hands free. I don't have to do anything. Nice, huh? Okay. So let's cut our thread. Whoops, I just dropped a pin.
Let's go here and let's look at everything. Make sure we caught everything. We did. So now I'm just going to cut the corners because y'all know what's going to happen next. We're going to poke out the corners and turn it right side out. Now, when you go to grab this to do that, you're getting here like, whoa, what am I supposed to grab in there? Because you see the pocket. You're just going to grab to where you see the pocket and you see the front. So you're going to grab in between there where you see the front part of the pocket and you see the front part of the needle hook. And we're just going to turn it right side. And if you use batting, it's a little bit harder to turn this right side out. That's another reason I like fusible, is because when you flip it, and I do about a 3-inch opening, it's a little bit easier that way. And I'm just using a point turner. These are the handcrafted point turners from Modern American Vintage. If y'all know Chris, he makes heirloom quality quilting tools. I always have people ask, what are you using? Modern American Vintage, Chris. And he makes everything by hand. I mean, it's stuff you want to like pass down to your grandkiddos or a really great quilty gift for somebody. All right. Okay, so we've turned that out. I'm going to use the smaller one just to make sure all of those corners are poked out for when we sew around those edges there. All right, let's see what we've got here. Okay, now we're going to go over to the pressing station and we're going to press this really flat. And we're in the home stretch.
So I'm going to ask if you could show an up close view of your decorative stitching.
Would I what? So a close view? Oh, yeah, sure.
Good camera.
Can you see that? So this is the one with the needle. This is the first time to try this one out. Sir? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, Quilt Husband, will you hand me that one over there with all the stitches samples, and I'll show you the other one if y'all missed that, for those maybe that miss it. Here's this one. This is the needle. This is my sample that I'm working on.
so that I'll have eventually all of them. I mean, there's a lot, like it's going to take me a while, but these are the example of all of the vine ones. So it's a great way to be able to see them, how they're stitched out. It helps. Okay, we are now going to press this nice and flat all the way around. That way when we do our top stitch all the way around it, it looks really nice. I just got something on my fabric, y'all. We're going to tuck this under 1/4 inch. So the pocket part and then the front part, so tuck that under. You know how we normally do when we're making tote bags and stuff. Although I have a French seam tote bag tutorial on my YouTube channel, I don't like to have to do all that where you have the lining and there's the hole in the bottom and you have to remember, you know, how to turn things right side out and all that. I use French seams and it sounds fancy, but it's simple. It's the only way I'll make tote bags now. So you don't have to do this whole part on that, but for this we do. All right, so it's nice and flat, and I got something on there. That's what that looks like. If you want to get real particular and you want, like, say you do something like that, you want your ribbons to match up perfectly, you might want to measure that. Okay, let's go on over to the machine and we're going to stitch this down, and I'm going to change my stitch length, I think, to a 3 on here. So I've turned the little wheel and I've changed it to a 3. And I'm using a knee lift on here, and let's take off smart feed. Now we'll leave the smart feed on because this is kind of thick. We'll leave that on. Needle down. And it did a back stitch. I really should have put it on a lock stitch so I didn't have as big. I'm going to change that for the end where it'll just be a lock stitch because I'm using white thread so you guys can see really well. Normally I would use a matching thread because you're going to see that back stitch really clearly. But that's a point where you can use that feature of, like, you know what? I don't want a reverse stitch. I want just a lock stitch so I don't have all these extra stitches. And with that dual feed, just goes right through there. So I'm doing a top stitch, about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And I'm going to pivot. You see how that foot comes up on its own because of that pivot setting on the machine? Come all the way around. Yeah, remember how you used to have to go back here, lift it? So you might still have to lift that up to pivot. Well, you don't. Or if you don't want to use that feature, you can use the knee lift. Now on my Juki, on the TL series that I have, I use my knee lift to pivot because I don't have this fancy feature on that one. Y'all, this machine, it does all the things, but it's not complicated. Okay, so now I'm just going to hit my pedal, that little button, and it lock stitched it right there. So let's trim. Just going to trim those threads right there out of the way. Lock. Look at that. This is a 3-inch stitch. I did a 3-inch rather than my normal 1.8. Isn't that cute? Okay. Now let's go on over back to the pressing station. And what we're going to do is we are going to press this in half to find the center. So just bring that over like this. And I do use steam. I use steam in my iron. So I give it a good press because this is pretty thick.
Someone asked, what type of heating mat are you using with ironing?
Yeah, so it's Novodon is the heating mat. Right here's the brands. And he's really great. This is a extremely long mat. I don't know how many inches. My pressing station is super long because I need a lot of area. And so this is a really long mat. He has 2 different sizes.
About 4 foot.
4 foot? Quote husband says about 4 foot. Okay. And you can cut it down to size, whatever you need. And I don't know if y'all know about wool, but what happens is this gets hot, like this is still hot. It heats from the back and the front, so your seams are flatter. So that's why I use a wool mat. Okay, so I have found the center right here. And I'm just going to put a little line right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the batting. I'm just going to fold that in half. Then I'm just going to mark it right there and at the bottom. And I'm going to just kind of center it, make sure it's all kind of lined up right there. Also, what I like to do is I like to kind of line it up when I look. I can use my stitch line here because I've given you the fabric requirements so that you'll be able to see your dish. If you wanted to do a decorative stitch, like one of the ones you saw on the machine, you could, and you could see, you know, kind of the decorative, but you would want to probably, I don't know, you'd have to see what the back and the front look like on that if you did that. Okay, so we've got that in place there. Now I'm just going to take this on over and we're going to sew this down through the middle, and that's going to sew on. Now at this point, if you did not want to make this a needle book and you wanted this to be a tea wallet, you won't sew this in. You're done. You're done. But I do want this needle book, so I'm just going to find my little blue spot there, and I'm, rather than do a reverse stitch, I'm going to just do a lock stitch. So I went over and changed that to lock stitch, and I hit the knee lift, so it pulled that down for me, and I'm just going to stitch right down the middle. Y'all, this machine, it's like, and it's really quiet too. It's not really loud. Oh, you're welcome, Elaine. I'm glad you like this project. You know, I mean, having a palette cleanser is what I call it. It's nice just to have little things, right? You just want to like do something little. Yeah, it's nice to be able to have that, isn't it? Okay. So let me show you, let you see it from back here. There's that. Let's go over to the overhead. And I'm going to give it one more press. Let's give it one more press here. Okay, here we go. Make sure we get all the strings cut. There's a couple more strings there. And there we go. There we go. There's the needle book. Isn't that cute, y'all? So cute. And then you can just tie it. Put all your little bits in there that you want. Like I said, this is so scrap worthy. If you ever do like little fairs or little shows, you could make these and sell these. I mean, if I wasn't teaching you, I can whip one of these up like in 10 minutes. So isn't that cute? You got the little needle and thread. I like this stitch for this. I think it's cute. I think I would probably next time make it larger. So the needle is, you know, maybe more like that. You could put the person's name with the fonts if you want on there. I mean, you got lots of options for this. Or you could put your tea in there if you want to put your tea wallet in. Okay. All right, friends. Well, that is our project for the day. You now know how to make a needle book or a tea wallet. Dual. It's a dual purpose project. It's one of my favorites. It's actually one of the most watched videos on my YouTube channel is doing this one. So this one's always fun to show people. Okay, Quilt has been turned this light back on over here. And we are going to talk about the Juki DX4000. So you guys got to see a little bit about what it does and all of the features and all of that great stuff. And I want to tell you about some of the specials, okay? So Blaine left me some details to go over with you all. And remember, this is a limited edition. So once these are gone, they're gone. If you like the silver one, which is the expert edition, it comes with the scissors. So that whole system there that you see that Roger's got pulled up for you, it comes with all of the scissors, the snips, it comes with the stiletto, and it comes with that trolley case. That trolley case is really too huge to kind of show you here, but it is made out of really nice upholstery fabric. It's got padding in it. It's like really nice if you want to take this with you to retreat or when you get it, you know, serviced, which these machines, like I know I probably should, but I never have any trouble out of my Juki. I just make sure that I clean them really well and all of that. So really nice. So this is what we've got here, y'all. There's special financing available. And so 18 months at 0 financing, okay? And look at this price. For the silver one, $44.95. So I was at a sewing machine shop
2 hours away yesterday because I had a doctor's appointment. And I stopped in this new shop, and she carries a different brand. And I was telling her, you know, that I just got this one. And I pulled up a picture and showed her, and she's like, oh my gosh, that is beautiful. She's like, I bet that's a lot. And I told her, she's like, are you kidding me? This machine is that inexpensive for all those things? I was like, I know, right? She showed me one that was kind of similar to this that was like $8,000. So anyway, long story short, even a dealer that sells a different brand was shocked at how good this deal was. So $4,495, and you get the bonus now just with this one, the trolley case and that beautiful stainless steel Juki scissor set and that embossed little zipper pouch. You get that. Blaine's also giving away a free 1-year platinum protection plan. So you don't have to pay for that extra. It's free. If you can't like drop all the bills right now, you can do financing 18 months at 0 financing or 36 months at 0 financing. So y'all got options to kind of pay this out if you need to. Okay. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it just started raining, y'all. Then let's look at, Roger, on the next one, you've got the option for a white version of this one. So here's the white version. $4,399. It does exactly what I showed you. It's got the tray. It's got the accessory box with, you know, what I showed you in there. And it's $100 cheaper. You don't get the trolley case. And that trolley case in itself is probably worth $500 or $600. Because if you've ever bought the really nice ones, they're expensive. And those stainless steel scissors too. So, you know, that's really the bargain. But if you don't like the color for some reason and you want white, you've got the white option. It's a little bit cheaper. Same on this one. You can call in for the financing on this one. And again, 18 months at 0%, 0% also at 36 months. And y'all get a free 1-year platinum protection plan on these machines. So I'm a Juki lover, and I always tell people on my YouTube channel, I don't share anything that I don't love and use myself because that would be really dishonest. So I have this machine. I use it all of the time. I did a lot of research on it. It's a very well-made machine. I love it so much, and it's got that option of your straight stitch plates and feed dogs, or switch it over to your regular plate, which I call the jelly bean plates, you know, for those other kind of fabrics that are a little more slick, your garment fabrics, all of that kind of stuff. And that is exclusive to Juki. Those special feed dogs that you swap in and out, exclusive to Juki. So, I mean, they did not stop with all the bells and whistles with this machine. And I'm still shocked. I was shocked when I got the machine, the price, and I still am. So Blaine is doing a great deal right now. You guys need to call in 1-800-401-8151. If you're interested, they can work with you on the pricing. The MSRP is $6,600, so they can work with you on the financing. Okay, so if you need that for your pricing and the financing, you've got 2 options on that. You can pay it out in 18 months or 36 months. All right, y'all, 2 options here. So we've got the silver one, we've got the black one, and the silver one, the Expert Edition. It's the QVP Expert Edition. Limited amount of those. Like, they're not going to make any more. Like, you got it, you're special. I like to sometimes feel special. So if y'all can see my other silver one over here, this is my Juki Platinum Edition. It's called the 2020 PE. So now they match. So I call this one the DX4000 QVP Expert Edition the big sister to my Juki TL. So they match. I'm a little matchy-matchy sometimes. So I wanted that to happen. All right, y'all. So that is the deal for you guys. And we're going to do some giveaways. So I'm going to let you guys, I get to say spin that wheel. I'm so excited. I was hear Blaine do it, Jane do it, now I get to say it. I don't know if I'm going to do it again, but Blaine's out of town, so he just like turned it over to me. So let's do some giveaways. So we're going to do, Roger, if we can do a third one, I don't know if you needed to know that ahead of time. I'm going to give away the one of the needle books and a pattern and also a sticker. They can email me for that, but let's do 3. That works, okay? The first one we'll do is for a $25 S&P gift card, y'all. $25 S&P gift card. So here we go, Roger. Spin that wheel. Let's see who wins. $25 S&P gift card. So you can use that when you purchase anything on the S&P website. And the winner is Annie F. Annie F. You are the winner of a $25 S&P gift card. So they'll get that out to you. I think there's probably a process for that to be able to get that. I don't think Blaine told me exactly. Some of y'all have been following and watching this a long time. I know what you're supposed to do, Roger. I don't know if you can tell him or not what Annie needs to do to be able to get that gift card. Maybe she emails. Maybe you can put that in the chat. And then the second giveaway that we're going to do is going to be for one of Blaine's sewing machine mats. So these are exclusive and they're famous. Now, I have the light teal, the blue ones at the retreat center, and they're perfect for your sewing machine to sit on. So I have those there for retreaters, and I actually have one here in my studio for my a very small embroidery machine, and they keep the machine from bouncing around and scratching up your table. So one person is going to win one of these. You get to pick what color you want. And you go to smplive.tv to redeem your prize. There's a little banner at the bottom. Thank you, Roger. SMP Live TV to redeem your prize. So here we go, Roger. Spin that wheel for an SMP sewing machine mat, and you get to pick the color that you want. And the winner is going to be... Who is it? Amy Ranches. Congratulations, Amy. You are the winner of one of these really nice mats. I have one. I use it. My retreaters use it. You're going to love it. All right. Now we're going to do one more prize. This one's going to be mine. And for y'all to win this, Roger's going to spin the wheel, but I'm going to have you email me. Whoever, I'll keep track of your name and I will mail this to you myself. So it is going to be for my posy chain pattern, for the needle book, and then for one of my thread lock with Belle stickers. Okay, and I'm gonna throw in one more thing. I'm gonna show you on the overhead here to go with your needle book. Let's see if you can see that overhead here. Maybe not. It's kind of okay, lagging a little bit. I'll show you from here. This is called the Bobbinator. This is the Bobbinator. Let me change views for you because we can't leave without you guys seeing what this is. This is the Bobbinator. And it holds for your little needle book when you're doing thread work. You actually can screw the top off of this and it stores your bobbins with your thread in it. And the cap screws on. It's also, there's a hole here and you can put it on your sewing machine and use up all those bobbins that you've had. But you're like, I just need to use up all the thread. There's a little section here for you to be able to put your thread out the side here. So when you throw this in your little bag with all your handwork, thread doesn't go everywhere. And you actually can just pull that out and snip it. So this is the Bobbinator. And I have had these for, I've got a few left. They're almost gone. So I'm going to give one of these Bobbinators away and I'm going to send it with all of that other stuff. So I've got these on my website, y'all. Too, if you want to get one. I throw them in my bag and I use them for English paper piecing all the time. So it's a lot of fun. Okay, Roger, can we pull up the wheel? Can we pull up the wheel? Okay, let's do a winner for my bundle today to give away. And here we go. Spin that wheel, Roger. Can I say that, y'all? I can hear Blaine doing it in my head right now. Sally RN1. So Sally, what you need to do because I'm going to mail this to you. Quilt Husband is going to put in chat my email address, and it's belle@SewingMachinesPlus.com. So Sally, look in the chat, belle@SewingMachinesPlus.com. Send me an email, Sally, with your address, and I'll pop this in the mail for you so that you've got that free gift. All right. All right. Let's pull up the slide one more time, y'all, so you can see what the special is before we kind of peace out today. We've got the call-in special again. When these are gone, they're gone. So this is the Juki DX4000 QVP Kokochi, which stands for, y'all know, can you remember what it stands for? Good feeling? Kokochi Export Edition, and it comes with the trolley, and it also comes with the special Juki scissors, the snips, the stiletto. $44.95. Y'all, this is a good deal for all the things this machine does. I mean, yeah, it's one of the reasons I got it. Then, if you decide, no, I don't really want silver, I want white, the white one does the exact same thing. It's a little bit cheaper. It's $43.99. but it doesn't come with the trolley and the special scissors. So you guys give them a call there at S&P, and they'll work out the financing for you. You get the 1-year platinum protection plan. You can do 0 financing for 18 months or for 36 months. And this baby can be yours, and you can make even more lovely things with all the decorative stitches, swapping out the throat plate and the feed dogs. It's just great. I mean, I love Juki. Like I said, I have 3 and I drive a Toyota. They're made in Japan. They're just really well-made machines. So I'm a big fan. All right, y'all. Well, that is our show today. So now you know how to make the needlebook wallet, the T-wallet, and the special on this machine in 2 different colors. Okay, y'all. So give them a call there. See what you can get coming to your door probably by next week if you order this today. Okay, I hope I did good, you guys. Y'all are used to Blaine. Roger, it was fun being with you behind the scenes. I hope that we made Blaine proud while he's out of town. But you guys call in, get you this special. If you have any questions, reach out to me too. I'm happy to help you on the side. So let me know. You can reach me and find me at Belle@SewingMachinesPlus.com. You're welcome, Roger. It was a treat to be together. Well, y'all, I am hitting the road. I'm headed to Dallas to the original Sewing and Quilting Expo. I am going to learn how to make some garments with a serger. Yes, Belle's going on a new adventure. So I'm going to be loading up and headed out. Visit me at SewingMachinesPlus.com. Roger put that there for you. You can join me over at Thread Life with Belle. That's my YouTube channel. I do a lot of lives. I do giveaways and tutorials there. We have a lot of fun here in my studio. Grab your pals and come on out for a retreat in the beautiful Washtenaw National Forest. It's on 45 acres on the river. So if you want to sew in peace, we've got some catering available if you don't want to cook. There's a river you can swim in. You can dig for crystals and diamonds here also. And I make you a homemade baked pie on your first day to check in if I'm here. If I'm not, I have an assistant that bakes it for you homemade. That's what we call Southern hospitality here in Arkansas. All right, friends, have a wonderful weekend. It was great to be with you here. And until next time, quilty friends, make lovely things. Bye, y'all.